Promise that you'll catch me. Promise that you'll catch me. Promise that you'll catch
Hee hee! Woo! On for that paper 3 yesterday. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm telling you. What a paper. What a history paper as well. That history paper. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Say that now. Anyway, this isn't about me. Well, it kind of is. But I'm sorry for not posting. And it may be a bit weird because my webcam's on the right hand side, not the left. So I'm sorry about that. But it had to be done. Just for this video. This video is going to be if I could retake my English speech that I did last year in year 10. So this video is out to my year 10 audience. You know who you are. I'm glad you're watching this. Because this is going to be a video for you. So let me just break down this whole video. So I'm going to be talking like this intro. This is the intro. I'm going to be doing my speech. Then at the end I'm going to give you some top tips that will help you get to the best grade you can get. So without further ado, I think let me redo my speech. And let me give you what you guys can do to obviously get that good grade. So let me go get the guy. Yo, what is up people? What is up people? This is my speech. This is my speech. So can we settle down? Stop screaming my name. Stop drooling everywhere because of me. Okay. Anyway, so this is my speech. It's about cats. And the title is going to be called The Voices That Are Never Heard. By me, obviously, because who else is going to write this stuff? Are you listening? Not to me, but to those who can't speak. Those whose cries are never understood. Those whose voices are never heard. No, I'm not talking about humans. I'm referring to cats. Not the ones that lay on the windowsill, but the ones who are forgotten. Left behind. The ones who are thrown out of our lives just because people don't have human dignity. And I'm looking at all of you because most of you are pets, and I know it'll be a shame if your pet was abandoned. So thank you, but can we settle down? Now I'm going to ask you this question. What can you see in this picture? Most of you are going to say a nice little cat with a little birthmark. Well, it's not really normal, it's a big birthmark obviously. But it's purple, which is abnormal if you ask me. It looks like he's having a good home. It looks like he's healthy, doing well. But now let me ask you this. What about now? What can you see that was different in the first picture? You get the context of its life, that's for sure. You get the birthmark now. You get what it comes from when it wasn't even a birthmark to begin with. It's its life. It's its life that it can't forget now because it's stuck onto him. Now, I'm sorry you had to see the second picture, but this is what we go through every day. Now, in the first picture, you can see it being abused, ink everywhere, it looking scared. But in the second picture, you can see how it's got a second life. Almost as if it's actually finally got a family that has cared for him. And I want that to be inspirational to you guys. Now, bullying is rising, as we know. And it's just like cats. You don't bully a cat just like the same as you bully a human. Just because he's small, maybe you don't have feelings for it or anything, doesn't mean you could just abuse it. Same thing with a human being. You wouldn't pick on a human being just because they're different, would you? If that happens to you, then what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? This could be you, but it's not. So be grateful for that. Are you listening yet? Because right now, in our world, there are more than 18,000 cats in England who were treated poorly. That's not a typo, by the way, guys. That's just a straight fact. And I want you to know that every single time you hear a cat meow, it may not always be for treats. Just think about that. Just think about that. Cats are voiceless, and in this world without a voice, it means you're invisible. That's right, invisible. And that's why I'm here today, talking to all of you guys, so then they can have a voice. So maybe next time when you're walking about the street, maybe next time you're just laying in bed on TikToks, doom scrolling or whatever you do in your spare time, and you hear that faint meow sound. Just think. Is that cat going through something? Or is it normal? You know? Think about that for a second and let that sink in. Cats can't speak English. Cats can't speak English or any other human language, primarily due to differences in their anatomy and brain structure compared to humans. While they can associate certain sounds with specific meanings, they lack the complex vocal cords, mouth, tongue structures, and specific brain regions necessary for articulating speech and language comprehension. What does this mean exactly? It means that the way that we can speak for ourselves, cats can't at all. So that means that your voice is their lifeline. Let that sink in. And I don't mean that literally. I mean metaphorically. Let that sink in. All I'm going to say is, how I'm speaking right now today, a cat can't do that. A cat can't speak up for itself unless someone looks after it. And as you've seen before, that cat was being abused. Ink everywhere because it didn't have a voice. Let that sink in. Because they don't have a voice like I do, so why should I even be up here? If I treat cats the same way, I shouldn't even be up here. I shouldn't even be in this room right now with you guys speaking about it. But here I am, with a voice that they don't have. I'm trying to let them know that they're not alone, and I'm here to protect them. This is my cat. No, it's not being abused, but I did this for a reference. As you can see in the first picture of my cat, it's laying down. And as you can see, close to the right of it, a hammer. Now, I didn't use that hammer myself, but I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, he gets on my nerves sometimes, but he's still my cat. And he doesn't have a voice like anyone else. So I'm going to treat it with respect. That I would treat any other human being with the same way. Obviously this isn't true, so don't take it to offense, because I would never do this to my own cat. He was asleep. Don't worry, I didn't do anything to him, he was just asleep. But as you can see in the other picture, I do treat him with care. And you can see he's got a faint little smile. I think that's a smile anyway. But with a little cute pumpkin on his head. Now, don't get me wrong, he does love that pumpkin. But, as you can see the differences between them. If you treat the one with respect, he smiles. When you treat him with not, he's gonna die. I'm sorry, just had to make the joke. This is another cat being abused. This is obviously different, as on the left side you can see it angry, and on the right hand side you can see it dead. But what caused that? Now, I've actually spoken with the family member that took this picture, and they say that the cat had anger issues. Now, I don't personally think that, because they don't have a voice, so they mustn't think of emotions as we do. However, as you can clearly see, if I never knew the family, I would assume that the family did something to anger the cat, which then caused them to kill them, which is on the right hand side if you can't see. It's on the right hand side, the cat laying dead on the floor, and on the left side it's obviously just the cat being angry because of this family member. So obviously, I don't know what they've done to it, but clearly it wasn't anything good. Rest in peace. Are you still listening? They give back more than we deserve, purring on your lap, curling by your side, loving you without a single word. So why do we still treat them like this? Ponder yourself about that query right now. Question yourself, do I treat my pet with the same care that I would treat any other human being? If the answer is no, then flip that switch right now. After I'm done with this speech, I want you to flip that switch and take care of that animal as if you would as anyone else. You know, as I said before, they don't have a voice, so, you know, as much as we can do is care for them as much as they care for us. Maybe it's because they can't speak, they can't call for the police, they can't post for help, they can't say stop. We can choose to protect them, to support rescue shelters who already fight in this war. Now, if you may not know me, I do support a shelter local to my home, and I do say stop for cats just like my own. When someone is hurting a cat, I say stop. Obviously they can't call police, but that is again because they don't have a farm or whatever, or that may just be dogs, but again they don't have a voice because they can't speak English, because they don't have the right accords or whatever. So maybe instead of them asking us, we put our foot through the door and stop anyone else who is harming them. Are you still listening? Because maybe, just maybe, if we all choose to care, even a little, we could rewrite their stories. And if you ever ask me what bravery looks like, I'll point to a scared rescued cat learning to trust again. Just like the cats we've seen before. So now, I want you to just think for yourself for a minute. And think, what have I done bad in my life to affect any animal? Not just cats, but any animal. Go on. Because while we're waiting here, I want you to think. Just think. Have you done anything to help a cat trust another human being? Have you done anything to make a cat look at you as if, wow, now that is good? Have you ever given food to a cat? Stroked a cat on the side, just for out of love? If you haven't, then flip that switch, turn that light on, and let's start a revolution. Let's start a revolution. And with that, my slideshow has come to a conclusion. My speech has ended. And now, I want you to think, are you doing the right stuff, or are you being abusive? Thank you, and this has been Alfie, and I want to see you next time. Bye! So obviously, now that we've done our speech, let me just sit. I'm gonna stand up. I want to stand up. So now that we've done our speech, what were some key elements that you found I struggled in? Obviously, I have a stutter when I'm nervous or get under pressure, so obviously I can't help that, but I'm trying to learn. That's why I do these videos, to make myself stop stuttering like that. But if you notice me, my eyes were either on the screen looking at you guys or in the crowd. So obviously when you do your speech attends, the board is going to be behind you when you do it. Or if your teacher allows it, you can stand at the side facing it, but you always have to be looking at the audience or looking at your cards. If you do want to do a presentation like me to help you, that is okay. You could just put it on the whiteboard, and then whenever you want to do your speech, you can either stand sideways like this, still facing the crowd, still looking at the board, so you can either point to it, or you can just use the notes that I've used on the side to start your speech and then carry it on, like a flow chart, basically. But if you're doing notes, make sure that you do continue to look up. Make sure you do continue to look up, obviously, because that way you can fully get the crowd's attention. Make sure you're not looking at the floor, looking about, turning around, being nervous, and make sure you actually stand tall, breathe in, and make sure you just zone out everyone. My favourite trick in the book is picture everyone naked. Obviously, if you've got widows in your class, don't do that, because that is disgusting. However, I don't personally do that because I'm not embarrassed. I don't get embarrassed like that, but I feel like if that helps you, do that, I guess. But if you are reading cards, obviously learn them thoroughly, learn your lines thoroughly, and like be able to speak freely without the need of pausing, stopping, like going all of that, and you should get a good grade. I feel like if I was to get marked on that, I would probably get a high grade, but it all depends on your questions you were given. At the end of your speech, the teacher will ask you 2 questions, or maybe 3, depending on who you have, and then you get to ask about 5. You get 5 questions to be asked by everyone else. So make sure you bring prepared questions and you give them out to people, so then that way you know how to answer them, and your grade can go from a low grade to a high grade instantly, just like that. But again, you got to be prepared for anything. The teacher will ask you multiple questions, so just be prepared for that. If you're not prepared, then don't worry. You can take your time. It's not about like timing wise on the questions. It's more about how do you answer the questions thoroughly. Like for me, I had questions like why did I pick this topic, and then like obviously how can we help. So obviously you got to pause for a minute, think, okay, what does she ask me to do? How do I say it? And that way it can probably get your grade from a low actual grade to a very high merit or distinction if you're good like me. So that's literally it. That's all I got to say for you year 10s, but hopefully you do well and pick your topic wisely, because obviously my topic wasn't the best, as I did not take it seriously. So make sure you guys take it seriously, and yeah, if you need any tips, leave them in the comments. My Snapchat will be here on the screen, somewhere on the screen right now. So if you do have any queries, make sure you add it up to talk about me to the year 10 speeches, or if you have any like video recommendations, I'm going to be loving recommendations. So if you do have any video recommendations for me to do, then make sure you add me or comment down below, or go on my TikTok, which will be here right now. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Alright.